Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, Chats 2017, and I'm just beginning to wonder, what's the point? What's the point of this? Why am I coming again? Do I really need to? Isn't that great? Because before, you saw me because I needed to be in front of this camera. At the same time, I've had a very unusual experience today. It has to do with this timeline stuff. It has to do with, I don't know, I physically had a very, very odd experience. I had two different realities, or I don't know how else you'd call it, and they were physically present. I felt them both. It was a lot. It was overwhelming, and I knew that the one that I had been in was the one I didn't want to be in anymore. And it was very instinctive and very innate, and it was a very odd experience. I never had anything like that happen, that physical of an experience. Since that time, I've been thinking differently, and the natural response I have to certain thoughts of just kind of falling off into a cliff of problem solving and rumination, it's not there anymore. But I have been given a step back and a looking at why I had been doing it. That's very helpful. Very sweet. The emotions are not as strong. The overall arc can be seen, meaning a pattern, not just with one person, but with many. It's a relief. And I'm left feeling very different than I did. And it's kind of one of the reasons I'm here. I just feel different. And of course, I'm by myself in this apartment. I've lined up, I get to see two really, really special people this afternoon. But I have a couple of hours, and here I am. It's just a simple note, a sidebar. It just feels weird, but really good. Because before I would think about my new life, I'd think about the things that I'm going to be doing and the things that are going to be important to me. And I felt a lot of sadness for the things I was leaving behind. And I really focused on what I was leaving behind more than I was focusing on what was coming, partly because I didn't know precisely what was coming, and I still don't. But what I'm aware of is that there is a set of clothes that I've consciously put on every day that restricts my movement and makes me feel awkward and weird. And I've been wearing them every day. And today that's what it felt like. You know, you can pick those clothes or you can pick this other thing that you're already wearing. It's up to you. And I just decided to stay with what I had on from the night before. Thank you very much. And it feels better. I don't know what any of it means. I know I'm creating something from the ground up that some critics would look at and say it's nothing but rank mental illness, and others would say, well, talk about a lot of mental masturbation, and others, they're going to have their judgments. But I know what this comes with. Not only the scientific information, but the channeling that would then create things in my reality. Miracles that I can't explain, synchronicities that blow my mind, and the minds of those who are connected with that synchronicity. It's not just me making it. So I feel continuity today that I didn't feel before. I think it comes with it's a puzzle. Timelines continue, stories continue, and yet there's a disconnection enough energetically that certain timelines are just no longer even something that you think about. But I'm certain I can still feel them. And I think that's how I get into the other timelines, just by feeling them. And maybe what this is about is just strengthening, clarifying, living my chosen timeline, not the old ones. Puzzling in the old framework, how am I going to get to the new one? While in the new framework, I don't have that anxiety. How am I going to get to the old one? It's available if I want it. So I know that this is very coded. I sense that it's very coded information, thick, and not particularly easy to digest, but I think important to say. And with that, I'm going to actually, like I said, do new behaviors. Something I've been afraid of. Maybe, and I've been very gentle about that with myself, assuming it just wasn't time. It didn't feel right, and I don't do things that don't feel right. It's a rule. I don't have many rules, but I have a few, and that's one of them. So I'm really glad that certain things that I've always wanted to feel right do, and that the things that don't feel right aren't crashing into me. The things that I had not understood and that really sort of haunted me because I didn't understand them are creating less and less dissonance within. Perhaps it talks about that barrier that I crossed, moving from wanting to understand and be understood to just wanting to be present and to be loving, to be relaxed and at peace. So that's nice. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing to need to understand. Like I've said before, thank goodness for that. We have a library to choose from now as a result of this burning need. But wow, something has shifted, guys. Something has shifted. There is enough momentum now. I worry less and less of, it's going to go back to how it was. There's just too much momentum. It's a matter of focus, remembering what is possible now, hooking into it, and smiling. Imagining that what is coming isn't going to have the booby traps and the landmines that my reality did before. The booby traps and the landmines were actually very clearly marked. Part of the problem with that whole reality is that I just didn't want to see the danger at hand. I didn't want to see it. And then things would blow up in my face and I go, oh, what a betrayal. No, not really. Not really. Just potential that finally exploded. This is different. And I'm going to go celebrate it. Doing the things I know are correct and appropriate, compassionate, and fun. Unworried. And detached. certain that my loved ones are fine. Certain that if my loved ones truly needed to or wanted to, they'd be sitting next to me. And that my being alone at this point is a gift that my loved ones give me as I complete this. That's all it is. And I'm in their debt. But looking forward to the artificial barriers finally coming down. All right, I'm done. I have nothing more to say this fine, fine day. I'm gonna go burn it up, go do my thing, and walk in knowledge today that all is well. All is well. That it was really appropriate to take to heart the admonition, fear not and be of good cheer. I'm struck with how old I look today. I feel kind of old today. It makes me sad I didn't get to this place until I was so old. But it couldn't have been any other way. And now that we're here in 2017, I think it's past time to just accept things as how they really are. They're the most perfect representation of what needed to be in this moment. Accepting reality from there is an honor. It's a privilege. And it's a skill. Selah.